From the pavilion at the other end of tomorrow night pavilion. That might be something for you to do as a family. Tomorrow night pavilion. That might be something for you to do as a family. 2nd of August, 1895.
As he pulls up at 5G, he converts his speed into height from his first manoeuvre, the hammerhead. Flight Lieutenant Bob's now pushing negative 2G, leveling the aircraft upside down for an inverted pass. I have sat in on this display and I can tell you that this is deeply uncomfortable, hanging in his straps, trying to maintain control of the aircraft. This is Bob's second year with the troops display. He's operating at a base height of 300 feet, accepting 2 final passes at just 100 feet out. When not displaying, Bob is a qualified flying instructor, or QFI, on 115 Squadron based at RAF Wittering, where he trains frontline pilots into fellow tutor QFI. Bob delicately uses the rudder to support the nose above the horizon while flying at 90-degree angles of bank. The tutor, manufactured by the German company Grob, primarily makes gliders, and the tutor is built like a... Bob now rolls 90 degrees while pointing straight up before completing a stall turn at almost 0 airspeed. The 2 90-degree turns allow him to continue in the same direction. The Grob tutor is off, and after the stall turn, Bob will enter a slow roll. Up to 50 selected air cadets each year are now also being taught to fly the tutor up to solo standard, flying it on their own. During that roll, you may have noticed the Royal Air Force across the UK. On the squadrons, students are taught to fly the tutor by highly experienced military flying instructors, like Bob. And it is worth mentioning that the UAS syllabus is A, free, B, 80 hours long, or remotely piloted capabilities with the drone protector. The high tempo operation. I'd like to take this moment and say a big thank you to us. If you've managed to get some good photos of the tutor, make sure to tag our social medias and we'd be happy to repost them. Bob's now bringing the tutor around for his departing wave. It's a final great photo opportunity, and yes, he will be able to see you waving. A big thank you to Clacton Airshow for hosting us this year. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the 2025 Royal Air Force Tutor.
Thank you to Flying Officer Sebastian Wilson for that excellent commentary there, and of course to Flight Lieutenant Bob Hughes for the RAF Grob Tutor display. Gave the Mustang its classic warbird appearance. Both in Britain and the US, they tested the airframe with the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine. As you heard it roar past. So the P-51D Mustang flying through this afternoon is Jersey Jerk. Major Donald Strait of 361st Fighter Squadron, 356th Fighter Group. During World War II, Major Donald Strait was assigned to the 361st Fighter Squadron and the 8th US Air Force, and during his 2 combat tours, he flew 122 missions, scoring 13.5 victories, making him the 356th Fighter Group's top ace.
Of Little Zippy. Now, a man who saw that fighter plane crash off the Essex coast during World War II says it's beautiful that an aircraft of the same...
Like a restaurant roof, huge watch, from flying over the area, flying over in, some damage, some shot at, but here, run up, and it stopped. Something's happened there. Apparently there's a rescue team.
Officer Raymond King, based at Rochester, Suffolk, experienced engine failure and ditched his aircraft just 800 yards from the seafront in Clacton. Although rescued by the crew of the Clacton lifeboat, he never survived his ordeal in a bitterly cold sea and tragically died from hypothermia. His body was laid to rest at the American Military Cemetery in Madingley, and after the end of hostilities was returned to the United States of America. So how wonderful that this aircraft, the P-51 Mustang that we have with us today, flies in tribute to Little Zippy.
Nicknamed Nelly, registration G-Thun, as in Thun for Thunderbolt, flown this afternoon for you by Mark Levy. The Thunderbolt was the last operations except for Alaska. By the end of 1944, she'd equipped 31 US Air Force groups and served with many other Allied forces, including the RAF, who took 830.
It's really fun sponsoring this display of Nelly and Jersey Jerk. I can't believe she's 80 years old this year.
She's doing good for 80 years. And as the Thunderbolt flies centre crowdline, they're just pulling up.
Towards us, Sam. Line abreast, perfectly in line with their first loop. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about a loop-the-loop, because did you know the very first person right in front of us, come on, if you're in Clacton, let's give them a big wave.
The Firebirds, flown by John Dodd and Nigel Reed this afternoon. They're flying centre of the crowd line, high above the beach at the moment. They'll be flying a formation routine with a smoke billowing, so you can get plenty of good photographs. I'm giving you a good... So as the Firebirds pull up way above our heads here, we can see the aircraft just banking over there. So there we go, so Nigel is flying in a straight line and John is looping around his smoke trail in an ever such graceful manoeuvre there. Now the aerobatic manoeuvres that use part 4 aerobatic competitions and air shows today.
Oh, I love that. They're just peeling off, one going down, one going up, big curves, the smoke is trailing. So they're marking their route in the pilot, Brian Comber, took me out in his aircraft. Oh my goodness, I was white for a week. I mean, the blood drained from my face.
The trick with aerobatics then is if you fly it, you don't feel poorly.
Right.
That's the trick.
If you're a passenger, you do.
So the pilots here are flying a number of opposition and crew manoeuvres, giving it the performance like a hot rod car.
Imagine having that engine on with you up as you go. God dear. Soaring up high into the sky now, as I say, that cloudy sky. Nigel and John are pirouetting gradually down, splitting up. One's going left, one's going right. Aircraft. And of course, these are the aircraft who are going to have all those power motor. It's strapped to them for one of our displays this evening for the twilight flights. If you've never seen these aircraft perform their twilight display, well, I hope you can stay in Clacton tonight for a real treat. Ooh, this looks a bit romantic.
No, not quite, not yet.
No, I thought there was going to be drawing something rather lovely in the sky.
Now it's the centre of the crowd line now. The aircraft are flying upwards with a smoke trailing, twirling as they climb, and then a little stall turn over the top there.
Device, wherever you are, they're coming up for us now.
Smoke trailing, climbing up, pulling some nice G there. They'll be pulling a load of positive G and then a bit of negative G over the top, which is pretty uncomfortable, I have to tell you. But the routine is using a standard aerobatic routines, which any pilot would do at an aerobatic competition. Now, because the aircraft are so lightweight, they're able to land and take off with a very short runway. They only need about
Into the sky, one is going left, one is going right, the smoke is on. Is this the moment I've been waiting for? Is this our message of love from the boys?
This is a beautiful big heart in the sky. Now we see the wonderful Spitfire 19 flown this afternoon for you by Mark Disco MBE. Strategic photo reconnaissance derivative of the Spitfire Mark 14. A fighter with a pressurised cabin. So when a Mark 19 flew a photographic mission during the Malaya campaign over the jungle in Johor, it was thought they could contain the communist guerrilla hideout. The Mark 14 was also the last RAF serving Spitfire type, and the last
Squadrons during filming. It's now back in RAF blue, representing its time as a photographic.
Spitfire was produced in greater numbers than any other British combat aircraft before or since the war. 20,330 of the war. And remained in RAF frontline service up to 1954.
Anniversary of VJ Day just last week. Oh, that was a wonderful shot as the Spitfire climbed high into the sky. We saw
You can watch him sat on a beach, watching the birds and drawing designs. He took his inspiration from the Spitfire design. He's flown as a fighter pilot with a BBLF for over 7 years, and an officer commanding for the last 3 years. He handed over command of the BBLF to squadron leader Mark Sutton, and a victory roll as he climbs along the beach there, heading out towards Clacton here.
how haunting. Well, but it's a bit warmer there than it is here. Although, I don't know, we're not doing too bad with the sunshine and the temperature. This just makes me laugh. Look how rich Goodwin is arriving. Engineering work. So it's just the propeller, but the display is not going to be any less stunning. He's just arrived, Sam, by sort of hanging in the air at a kind of jaunty angle.
So he arrived from crowd right from the JBEC end of the beach on what you would call a knife-edge pass, with the aircraft literally on its side with the nose pointing upwards and trailing smoke behind him. And he's now passing us inverted upside down, and he's doing a 4-point hesitation roll by the looks of it. He's doing a little waggle of the wings. He started to warm up ready for the routine, twirling up into the sky. Now Ian, you were saying it's just the propeller. He has an engine in there as well as the propeller. It's an 8.5 litre light.
Well, I say climbing, he's just kind of just throwing it around the sky like a paper aircraft almost. He's just climbing up but doing it 12 as he went.
Yeah, so later on in the display we'll do lots of high climbing and twirling on the tower. Now this aircraft is actually the original aircraft. It was designed as early as the 1940s by Curtis Hicks in America, and the first aircraft took to the skies in 1944. The legacy of the aircraft and the example of the time, be a modernised version today.
How many twists and turns, Richard, as he climbs into the sky. Interestingly, he is bright blue, like the sky colour of the sky, and as he arrives, a little bit of blue has arrived in the sky too, and it's climbing so high just then, just doing this turn after turn after turn after turn. He must be incredibly fit. Well, he is. He came to see us earlier. He is a fit chap, and the pressure on his body, Sam, to be able to do this is intense, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a huge amount of training that goes ahead with being an aerobatic pilot. You have to be incredibly peak fitness. And just this morning he went for an hour's run with the two Firebird pilots. You know, he's very keen on staying fit, but it's also important for training to practice the G and get your body used to it. There'll be grunting in the aircraft as well, so as you pull up, there'll be lots of grunts going on.
He'll be grunting.
And that helps with the blood flow to stop it rushing away from your heart. Conscious and not passing.
Some smoke trailing, white plumes of smoke coming from the rear of the Pitts aircraft. So he's quite high up into the skies now, just to our right, coming down, oh, smoke off, just coming down towards the display access, which is marked by those giant orange inflatable buoys that we can see in the sea in front of us. That centre is the one of the display.
So one of the great capabilities of this high-powered 8.5 litre electronic engine is you have incredible ability to be able to vertically climb. You can also hold the aircraft in suspense. As he is now, the aircraft is literally floating by the propeller. So the reason this aircraft and Rich is able to do such manoeuvres is that Pitt Special was modified with a new wing design by Eddie Saranman, can't pronounce that. It's got unique expansive wing area, which means it gives it a phenomenal roll rate and better low-speed handling. The wing build was started in 2014 and it all took place in Richard's shed. If you look on his website, richgoodwinairshows.com, you can see photographs of the build of the wings. It took 4 years for Rich to decide to build this completely new aircraft, which is registered GJ Pitt. As I said earlier, he normally operates with two jet turbine engines. Now those engines are away for maintenance at the moment, but they will be back.
But no drones please flying in the display airspace. We are following all the regulations put in place by the Civil Aviation.
Both have been customised as hot rod biplanes, featuring these augmented engines, modified control surfaces and impressive smoke systems. These enhancements allow them to provide a display with advanced aerobatic capabilities and execute a range of really distinctive manoeuvres such as the double hammerhead, sometimes called a pinwheel, or the tower of power, which is a torque roll and backwards flight. Pushing him off his display line, the aircraft performance, the oil temperature, how it's performing and how he's feeling. And he's doing all of that while smiling with a big grin on his face.
And who says men can't multitask, eh?
So Rich has had a really busy air show season. He's already performed over 20 displays so far this year in UK.
Of the wing, as he flies along the I'm just checking. I think actually we've got the stamp mark. Oh no, I can see that. I've got my glasses on. Yeah, we've got one of each. That's good. And look at this. Now, this is wonderful. The Vampire and a Strike Master. Now, trailing the Vampire at the moment is that left wing down a bit so you can see the undercarriage of the aircraft. A very different aircraft.
Displays for air shows all around Europe, but also to educate on the important role they play in aviation.
The 2023 film was actually filmed in Norfolk, just north of us. Up past Suffolk into Norfolk, to give you your bearings if you're new to us here in Essex.
Flying on spring, and they were flying in fall. and John Travolta's flying another aircraft and he escapes them through the fog. And of course the vampires in the 1950s, which is when the film was set, they often would escort fighter aircraft coming back from Europe to help them land safely. And it really is just so poignant to be able to see these modern day films, to be able to relive the experiences of those that actually served in the military and flew these wonderful jet fighters.
And it's also great that not only is the memory kept alive when we see them in films now, but the money doesn't pass out too. The money that the people that it's hugely expensive to look after and operate these aircraft, and if they can get a
Almost 3,300 vampires were built, a quarter of them under license in other countries aside when he landed and took off again from HMS Ocean. On June 1946, the vampire was introduced to the British public when Fighter Command's 247 Squadron was given the honour of leading the fly past over London at the Victory Day celebration in many of these aircraft, so they really do have to keep cool.
slow turn now. We're seeing it doing that thing where they go along from right to left in this case, and they just turn 90 degrees a time, which gives you a lovely sort of
Airlines and flying Boeing aircraft. Ken has flown more than 250 hours on this type of aircraft. He's actively involved in their maintenance.
I'm looking for Jake and our usual afternoon show features.
So as Ken pitches up centre datum of the beach there, as he climbs up at certain points, the aircraft is almost silent, and only at the top do you hear the wingspan. It's 8 feet high. Powered by the Howland Goblin 3 centrifugal turbojet engine with 3,350 pounds.
So that is one of the safety rules of running an air show at sea. You can't be in the water whilst the aircraft are displaying above. So please make sure. Between 10 and 2. Actually, I'm working with Sadie on Sunday, so you're here, me too. Sadie's got everything you need. Feel good stories. It is back at the BAC Strike Master. Little bit of smoke trail over here at the moment.
Itself a jet engine version of the Percival Provost, which originally flew in 1950 with the engine. This Strike Master is essentially an unarmed version of the jet engine Provost 2. Strike Master was moderated with
that we've seen already today, but I did say that Sammy Hux from Stansted in Essex did the first loop in an aircraft, and Sam, you said what was the aircraft? Well, Steve Scooter right there with this
challenging to fly, but yes, well, that's a piece of aviation history I've learned today, thank you.
Brilliant, oh, we have learned today. More facts coming your way soon. Certainly no.
Aircraft. Slow manoeuvres can easily be followed by large vertical manoeuvres. As the aircraft pulls up there, you can hear that thrust almost really chase here in the commentary point, and it will be sustaining up to 4 G.
Oh, it's coming straight for us. Up into the sky. Turning 360 degrees, showing us the undercarriage now.
You can see the wing point tips really clearly. Nostalgia of my dad training pilots on the jet Provost in the 1980s.
And they've got a fantastic view, haven't they?
and it's the Thistle that is celebrating her 130th birthday. So and all the passengers on the Thistle and the Clacton Airshow, but a whole lot more besides from life here in our county. We welcome our third
combat, and one of its primary missions uses a forward air control aircraft. It can carry up to 3 tons of external munitions, internal loads such as paratroopers or stretchers, and it can loiter for 3 hours. Very difficult conditions. As Tony banks up and shows us the underneath of the aircraft, using the dead orange tips on the fins of the rudder and the wingtips. And Tony twirls the aircraft gently, and you'll see later on some onboard footage from the Bronco as Tony has a GoPro on board. Now, as he flies very slowly across the beach, you can see him just flying along very, very slowly. And this shows you the capability of the low speeds the aircraft can do. So approaching us now with the light on the cockpit glaring towards us. The wings tipped at a sort of 45-degree angle.
And the wings are back up now. Tight, we've seen service of major conflicts. So all the smoke trailing out now from the wing, from the quick turn. That's that maneuverability you were mentioning.
Yeah, the Air Force, the Navy and the Marines. And the original concept called the Bronco to also be as windshields, something we see in James Bond, and self-sealing fuel cells for operating in those hostile environments. The Bronco was designed to use Bronco saw service in other countries, including Germany, Thailand, Venezuela and Indonesia. And they are also examples that were later used in Morocco and Colombia as well as the Philippines. He loves flying here at Clacton. It's his 7th year here at the show. He loves it because he can fly into the airfield, walk to the seafront, see the displays. And he said he just feels the undercarriage down there. So this is what we call the dirty pass.
What a treat for Peter, who's celebrating his 76th birthday today. Happy birthday, Peter, from Blake and all the family. But what a treat to see this aircraft as professional. He is listening to Radio Airshow in Australia right now because his dad flew a fairy swordfish. So a very, very special aircraft. Stalwart of the Second World War. For a successful operation in Fleet Group here. Little known really of her role while on active service in the Mediterranean. But it's likely that she was based in Earth.
Last year was such a kind of moment. The gentleman as well that had flown with his swordfish, talking to us about the Arctic missions. So the first swordfish flew in 1934 and was taken into Royal Navy service as a swordfish Mark 1. By the start of World War II, the technology had moved on a pace that was already rather it's highly manoeuvrable, and not many disparaging marks were ever made about it, except the fact that it was speed.
Really, it's very strong. One of the black and white stars.
3 types of shipping deployed: naval aircraft carriers, escort carriers, and finally merchant aircraft carriers. smart flight deck and still close to the
Listening to you on BBC Sounds. We're going to be on the beach tomorrow to join the fun. Well, there we are. They've enjoyed it so much today. They're coming from St Albans tomorrow. Brilliant. And, oh wow, what a treat you will be in for, Jason. As we say, hello and welcome to the 6 members of Team Raven.
flying RV8 aircraft for you this afternoon. Probably one of the world's best-selling self-fully aerobatic with beautiful limits. And we're ready for some pure entertainment this afternoon.
And very rare, Sam, to have a civilian aerobatic team of this number.
Absolutely, they are civilian pilots. They do the Raven display routine.
Down South Build aircraft, like you saw a little firebirds. So you need a massive box of kits to put this together. And I just hope more bits were left over after the summer.
I actually visited a friend's a couple of summers ago who had on this performance, and it's quite like handling and make it perfect for formation flying. And just looking centre park there, you've got the full ship formation twirling above, smooth trailing, and you can see in kind of just the precision of the aircraft.
Surely sits at a 4-month RAF fast jet plane with around 3,005 hours flying time, having done multiple tours on the Tornado F3, flying missions over the Balkans in 1995, as well as tours as a qualified flight instructor on the Hawk and the Grog tutor in the University Air Squadron elementary flying training roles. He now serves as a full-time reservist and flight commander on the University's Wales Air Squadron and at St Eastern, flying the Grog tutor once more. He's a passionate skier.
So I was chatting to the Ravens last night, Ian, and they were very complimentary about Sid, and they said, well, first of all, they were teasing, saying that we started flying, and I'm told that he's yet to realise just how difficult it is, because he's a military formation pilot and a great team member. He's also a commercial pilot, so you may have flown on your holidays.
They're back in a 6-ship formation and they're flying straight to us. Lifting high into the sky, we see the undercarriage as they all peel away in different directions.
So the aircraft have been modified with smoke systems, which greatly add to their dynamic display. It shows the RV8 capabilities to its full. The team don't want to go. So the fact that they reappear at Clacton several times means that they love it here. They have a great team dynamic, a great banter amongst themselves, but they're also totally professional. They take the flying very seriously, everything is done to perfection. And that harks back to the days of George, who is grade 4, who was previously a rugby Welsh national international player. He's the sport of the show organisers to keep things with the ticketing.
Dream. I bet the others love that. Oh, do the paperwork. Oh, for the forms.
We also have to say that Barry, that flew with the team last year, is now retired as a display pilot, which also helps the team as doing the admin, the paperwork, and helping them with the team camaraderie, all the things that no one else wants to do. So Barry's with them here at Clacton this weekend, this 2 days as well. Raven 5 is Russ Eastwell, who's an ex-Sea Harrier display pilot, and apparently he tells the team every weekend. That's his talent. He's also displayed some of the Royal Navy's historical aircraft, such as the Seahawk and Livingston display device and the Spitfire. An impressive military career in the Navy. When people ask if they were ex-fast jet pilots, Sid rivalry going on there. He joined the team in 2022, the same year as he was. shining at us as the smoke trails behind. And you can hear the roar of the engine there at all 180 horsepower echoing along the seafront. Now Raven 6 is looking to the bus.
I thought you were going to say to make it to the bar. Perhaps he's the first. That's why he's late to the bus. Two going up in the sky right in front of us. One going left, one going right. Could this be a big part for me?
Pilots showing their love for Clacton. Team Raven, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here on Clacton Beach. What a phenomenal display. And quick on the tail, we've got a three-ship in a fan manoeuvre as they pitch up one before the other. Leaping over the top with a smoke trail behind.
Can I just say, hats off to Owen, who's making all of this happen on the seafront with the technicals for bringing
Oil in the engine to allow for more lubrication. They run the aircraft with a minimal amount of time for the takeoff. Don't burn for too long to make sure that they keep those engines fuel ready for display.
And look at that, with spontaneous applause from the thousands and thousands of people in Clacton. The six came together, perhaps, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as the sound of a massive round of applause for Team Raven. We're going to see so many wing-overs today from this helicopter. It's absolutely incredible, and I love this. To get a helicopter like this at Clacton Airshow making its debut is just absolutely superb.
You can hear the rotor blades really chopping through the air here on the seafront as the Lynx helicopter is pitching nose up about 45 degrees, almost to 0 miles per hour.
Good job. Yeah, thank you. I know a lot of people are waving. A good time to wave to our pilot. He will see you. We're getting a very graceful turn. So now we've seen the side, the bottom, the other side, and back round to the front.
So the main rotor diameter is reversing backwards, whacking its tail. Give the pilot and the anchor a big wave as he pitches down, nose down towards the beach, nodding at me, showing his extreme capability.
It's going to whiz off fast in a minute. You wait. So that's a wonderful 360-degree spot turn, a sideways right maneuver.
Production for the Army and the Navy. And the British Army Air Corps got their first Lynx in 1979. They used them for utility, transport, anti-tank, search and rescue, escort and reconnaissance missions. Then in 1981 they deployed the AH-7. The Western Lynx AH-7 was an upgraded land-based design of the Lynx for the British Army Air Corps. It had updated engines, gearbox, a bigger tail rotor and upgraded anti-tank abilities. The AH-7 can carry up to 9 troops or passengers.
I'd like to say thank you to Project Lynx for what we're seeing here. A current owner and a keen aviation enthusiast. Graham is an accomplished pilot himself, and over the years he's owned a number of aircraft, including a MiG-15, the Westland Whirlwind, the Wasp Scout and the Gazelle helicopter. Completing the complete restoration.
Now, eyes to the skies as you saw the helicopter there doing a bow to the cloud, which really was quite something.
left-hand side of that centre stem is Red 3, Clacton and Jimmy 2. Let's see the first create in the team. At the back of that formation, all the way to the right-hand side is Red Force, following the Chris McCann. He's working extremely hard all the way back there. He's having to look through the formation at present. That capability in the space shape of the Apollo spacecraft. In from the left-hand side, in Apollo. Pilots on the red arrows, Reds 1 through 9 performing beautifully throughout today. Myself, Red 10, former Tour AGR full pilot, former qualified flight to home number 1. From the right hand side, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get your cameras ready. It's tornado time! Reds 8 and 9 roll goes, Reds 8 and 9 roll around the smoke of Enid. Watch for the colour change as Red 1 brings them down the line. As we go into the second half of the show, we'll start in the same way we did last year. This is over 500 miles per hour, lines up with Enid to perform the Goose. Get your cameras ready. This is the one you do not want to miss. The smoke comes on for the world famous synchro heart. Coming in from the top right-hand side is Red 8 as he spears the heart. Red 8 is Clacton Rich Walker, third and final year in the team. An extremely experienced aviator, having flown Harrier and Typhoon, as well as being a qualified flight shooter on the Hawk T Mark II. Ladies and gentlemen, Number 9 rolls around the smoke of Enid called the circus. Keeping an eye on the 6 as they complete the circus. Up to your front right, 45, 33, everybody back in for this play area. The white smoke comes on. The white, the blue come on, red one flies a barrel in the sky. Over the snake-like smoke trail in the sky, in a maneuver called the serpent. Once again demonstrating our famous red, white and blue. That red, white and blue is only capable due to the smoke pod under the belly of the aeroplane. This is capable of producing approximately 5 litres on in the tandem. First of our new movers for 2025, this is Chainsaw. Red 6 and 9 inverted flight up to 30 seconds once to go. 2 and 3 roll going for another 2-3 rolls on the outside.